Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews, and we're doing another random reviews today where I'm going to be reviewing 5 movies that I've been watching for my video where I'll be ranking my favorite movie from each year from the past 50 years, and today we're going to be talking about Alien, Aliens, Predator, Terminator, and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So let's just get talking about this. There's quite a few movies here. Okay, so for the video, my favorite movie from each year from the past 50 years, I've been going back and watching movies, classic movies that I have not seen yet, so that I could get like the best list. And just so you know, this is some of the more modern things I've checked out, like, for an example, how I decide what movie I'm going to watch. 2017 was probably one of the best movies of all time for movies, was one of the best years. And so I watched quite a few movies in anticipation for that list. And so I'm not watching anything for 2017, but on the other hand, in 1975, the only movie that I'd really seen was The Apple Dumpling Gang, and so I watched Jaws. So I've just been going back and checking out all these movies, and so today we're going to be talking about Alien, Aliens, Predator, and the Terminator, and the Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So we got the 2 Aliens movies, and they're also connected to the Predator, and then we have 3 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And so nice list, and let's just get started with Alien. And I heard a lot of stuff about Alien and Aliens and Predator being amazing movies, and just starting off with Alien, a much smaller movie. It's directed by Ridley Scott, who I don't think I've seen any movies from, and this must have been my first. And so the visual effects, let me say this, is just the visual effects in this movie look really good. It's a very simple story. It's this crew that's on a ship that's getting this ore or whatever, and they're going back to Earth. They land on this planet to check something out. They break the ship. They fix the ship. Something gets attached to the crew member, and then they're going back to Earth while having the thing attached to the crew member. Simple story. Not much there, but they just execute it in such a good way. So, little details, and like, it sets up a bunch of classic stuff that people still think are great. Like, people still talk about xenomorphs and about the facehuggers. It is very sort of horror in a way, but not a sort of sci-fi horror, because it's in space, it's with this one monster, and it's an alien, a xenomorph, and they don't even say xenomorph in the movie. It's a very contained story. You have your characters on the ship, and it does get creepy at some points, where you have the guy where everything seems fine, and then just the xenomorph baby jumps out of his chest and kills him. And it's just very interesting with that, and then you got it going around the ship, and then it grows into the big xenomorph, and you have it hunting down everybody. You also have that creepy moment where it's revealed that one of the crew members that you really thought was a human was actually like a robot, and you didn't even know that robots were in this world, so it just gives us more sense of unease, like what could happen. And I had seen so much stuff with the xenomorph bursting out of the guy's chest. Like, it has been shown so many times. I did not see that guy being a robot. I did not see that. So that sort of freaked me out for a second. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Very interested. And so I basically knew what was going to happen. Like, it's going to get bigger. It's going to eat them. There's only going to be one person left. But the main character is this girl named Ripley, who I knew she was in Alien. So I was thinking, hey, is anybody else going to survive? And there's some characters that I'm like, no, why do they have to die? But it was solid movie. It was a bit slower than I would have preferred, probably. There's some definitely creepy stuff when they're just getting out and you know something's gonna happen. and you get pretty freaked out by it because the effects on everything look really good. And this came out in the 70s, like I think 1979, and it just has great effects. This is one of those movies, sort of like Star Wars, that really set down great effects. Let me just say, the ship that they're on doesn't look very aerodynamic, but it's a very just cool design. Like, you see a basic spaceship in a movie, and you're like, yeah, well, but this is interesting. And the creatures, you have the face hugger, which sort of like spider crab, like that just attaches to your face. So creepy, and it looks so good. And then the main one, the xenomorph, which it just looks so real, and I really enjoy that. It's just so good. I don't even know how they did some of this stuff. It's just amazing stuff with that. But there's just one creature. It's a lot more of a horror than a action movie. And a bunch of people say this is one of the best of all time. And I would say it's a great movie. I'm not denying it. I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. But this is one of those movies that I'm not going to go back and revisit too often. I'll watch it every once in a while, like maybe once a year. But this isn't a movie that I'm going to be like, I need to rewatch it. I'm probably more likely to rewatch something like Free Guy than this, even though Free Guy is not as good of a film. But it's just because rewatchability. And this movie, still, solid movie. I didn't hate it. I really enjoyed it. It's not exactly, there's people that like Alien and there's people that like Aliens. Alien, horror, creepier, slower, more contained. Like, you only see the humans that are on the ship, which is under 10 people. There's one robot, one xenomorph, one facehugger, and a bunch of humans. Under 10. So, really contained story. And then I watched Aliens, which a lot of people say it's one of the best movies of all time. And let me just say, Alien is good movie, great movie, but Aliens is more my thing. I'm a person that prefers Aliens to Alien, and that's just because I'm an action guy. I enjoy action movies a lot more than horror movies, I would say, unless you're talking about the Scream movies, which are a bit of comedy too. But if you have action or horror for me, I prefer action. And this movie has the bit of horror, but it's mostly just an action movie. So Aliens, it's directed by James Cameron. They had him take over. And we're taking, I think, 57-year jump into the future where Ripley she's going to this base where they found the xenomorph. She's going back there after she's been discovered and everything. She's going back there with this one guy because he says that they've had settlers on that planet, and they're trying to find if there's actually aliens on there. They don't really believe her at first, but they sort of are like, okay, we'll see what's happening. And so she goes down there. Everybody's dead except for this one girl. And so that was just what happened to him. And it was aliens. Bunch of aliens. Bunch of xenomorphs. And it's just so great because there's more xenomorphs. The effects are even better. There's a bunch of gunfire, a bunch of fighting. A lot more charismatic characters. Like, you have the army people. You have the people that are just there to study them, or say they're actually there to get the aliens. And just such a great movie. Let me just say, I really just prefer this because even in little things, lines of dialogue, I prefer it with the lot bigger cast in this. And another thing that you could do with the bigger cast, more people could be killed off, brutally murdered by aliens. And so more aliens, more action, it just brings everything to the next level, which doesn't always work, but for this movie, it did. And Ripley gets this connection with this girl. There's some just great little world building of these machines that you see that when I first saw them, they were in Avatar, because James Cameron did both these movies, and it's like an upgraded version of the machines that are in here. Then you have the final monster, which is the mother xenomorph, the queen xenomorph, I think it is, and it just looks so awesome. The characters here, you have another robot, which sort of makes Ripley distrust them because the guy tried to kill her in the first movie, and so you just have only Ripley returning. The xenomorphs are there, face huggers are there. It's just crazy, and you have the guys trying to save them, to study the xenomorphs and the face huggers. You have the people that just want to kill them. You have your action heroes. You have Ripley. You have this girl, and I just really enjoyed the entire movie. It's a great movie for me, and it's a great action movie. It's a great movie in general. And give it a few rewatches. It might be one of my favorite movies of all time. This was amazing. I just love the cast, the one-liners that happened. The special effects look even better. Where I don't even just, it's so cool how everything looks. And even with the Queen Xenomorph, it might seem like, oh, it's just a generic, you gotta have the Queen, you need to have a bigger villain. But it's not like this, not for this movie, because it ties into the emotional core of the movie, which is Ripley sort of accepting this girl and becoming sort of her mother. And that sort of parallels with the Queen Xenomorph. And so just very, very good movie. I enjoyed everything here. No, not good. It's amazing. Sometimes I say good or great when I mean amazing, or I say great when I mean good. It gets a bit mixed up, but this is just such a good movie. And I don't know if this is my favorite one out of these. I'm still sort of trying to decide. I don't know if I could rank these at the end, but just so glad that I checked this one out. Next one here is Predator, and this was my first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I'm going to check up how to say that. Let me see. Do you say Schwarzenegger or what? Okay, I looked it up, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I'll try to say that. But this is my first movie with him, and it's a very gritty sort of guy, gruff, sweaty sort of movie where you have the guys just spitting, just talking, just sort of the army vibe, and I was really enjoying that. You have a great cast of characters here you have Arnold, you have the guy who also plays Apollo Creed in Rocky and is the sort of like, oh, I don't think there's a monster out there. He's crazy. You have the native woman that's there. You have these army guys that are friends with Arnold. And just great movie. Once again, I would call it better than Alien because this is more my sort of style for a film. This is what I look for. And let me just say, it's just great movie. The thing here, you have the Predator, which they have a very smart way of keeping it hidden. It's got invisibility. It's got cloaking device, and eventually breaks. And let me just say, the creature design here, when we finally see the creature in the third act, looks so good. It just looks so good. I love the creature design for this alien, but it's also hunting them, looking to fight the best of the best until the best of the best is of the best is left. I just really enjoyed that. It's gritty. A bunch of guys can die. Like the best action heroes, it could be a bit bloody. It could be just gory, and I enjoyed that. You get Arnold who eventually outsmarts the monster, and just great movie. This is one where there's not a whole bunch to say, at least for me, because it's a great action movie. It's smaller, more contained, but it's not like we're on a ship going through space. No, it's more like it's just these few characters and this one Predator, and I don't feel like they need to up the antics like they did with Alien to Aliens. I'm not going to go watch Predators 2 or Predators. No, Predator 2 or Predators or The Predator or Alien versus Predator. I feel like I'm fine with just one Predator. Whereas Alien, I felt like there was a bit more needed. This Predator can take out so many people and so just lethally. I just loved it. The design on him, once again, so cool. I think I prefer Xenomorphs to Predators, but he is so cool. The look when he takes the mask off and also with the mask is just amazing. The fights, the just little gadgets that the Predator has, and then the jungle aesthetic that we're in, and they're trying to figure out what is doing it. I just really enjoyed the entire movie. It was a great movie. Solid 10 out of 10. Same with Aliens. I didn't mention that. Aliens 10 out of 10. Alien 9.5. And then I would give this a 10 out of 10. Maybe a 9.5. I'm sort of a bit wavering, but I'm leaning towards 10 out of 10. I just feel like it's a bit more smaller. But I'm fine with that. Not every movie has to be Avengers Endgame, but it's just smaller. And I felt maybe there needed to be a bit more. Like, not in the way where we needed more Predators, but maybe make it a bit longer. It's not even 2 hours long. It's relatively short. So, yeah, that's the one thing I would say about it. And then we have our second James Cameron movie on this list, Terminator, or The Terminator, the original with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger. But anyway, this movie is the one on this. Last time it was Halloween, where I was just like, nope, not into Halloween. But this time it's The Terminator. I like The Terminator quite a bit more than Halloween. I'd give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. It was a good movie. I didn't hate it. But I just felt sort of like, throughout the movie. Like, it's about this romance, but it's also about this Terminator coming to kill them. And the Terminator is the name of the movie, and he doesn't really have much dialogue, much things going on, which they do the same thing in Terminator 2, but it makes sense. This time he just doesn't have anybody to bounce off of, any big thing to happen. And in this movie, the Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who does a great job, he feels threatening, but not to a point where I'm just like, he's not a fun sort of threatening, or like a threatening where you're very interested, where he deserves to be the title character. We're actually just following this woman who eventually her son is going to lead this guy who's coming back to her in time travel he comes to save her, and then eventually he turns out being the kid's dad. So that might, if you understood that and you haven't seen the movie, good job to you. But the movie is mostly, if you break it down, an action movie that is also a romance and a bit of time travel. So with that being said, I wasn't into the romance. I'm not against romance movies. I could really enjoy them. But the romance in this feels, she meets the guy she spends like she says at the end of the movie, literally, with the few hours that I spent with your father, it felt like a lifetime. Like, they spent a few hours together, and suddenly he's the dad, and they're in love forever, and she never marries again, and it's all perfect. It's just like, really? Really? And she's just a regular person. And then the Terminator is coming in and just killing guys, but he doesn't really have anybody to bounce off of, nobody to talk to. So he's just talking like, give me your clothes, or just something very generic. And another thing that really brings this movie down, let me just show you a clip from this movie. So here's an actual scene from the movie. So he's just doing there. He's got some blood in his eye. Let's see. Arnold Schwarzenegger looking in the mirror. And then, what is this? What is this? That doesn't look like a human being. What is this? This is a puppet. Wow, he's a robot. A robot puppet. Oh, and there's the eye. It's wow, a puppet. Very interesting. Okay. Oh, look, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger again. That sort of brings me out of the movie. When you show me a puppet, I know it might have been revolutionary. And another little quip that I have with the movie is the Terminators. When you see the Terminators, the CGI is it's so CGI bad. Sorry. When he walks, it's so obvious that it's not real. And it just takes me out of the movie like, why? Where that's my problem with the movie, along with just I'm not interested in the romance. There isn't a bunch of stuff here. And so this, unfortunately, is probably at this point my least favorite James Cameron movie. I really enjoyed Avatar. Like, it's solid 9 out of 10 for me. Titanic was great, another 9 out of 10 for me. Aliens, 10 out of 10, loved it. This movie, 7.5 out of 10, did I say? I think I said 7.5. And it just, some stuff brings me out of the movie when you have that. And other things that sort of bring me out of the movie is when you just have these random stuff. Never mind with that, man. I'll just not talk about that stuff. But the movie, it's solid. It's a good action movie. I enjoyed the action in here. But some stuff just brought me out of the movie. I wasn't invested in this romance that was going on between these two characters that meet and then immediately have sex and have the kid. And then she basically like, oh, he's the only man I ever loved sort of thing. It's just like, ah. But anyway, a movie that I did really love is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And this movie, I think they chose the very wise choice of sort of, when they show the Terminator, they don't show like the full body because it was just too much. Some of the stuff, I'm like, how did they do that? Like, maybe I could sort of see, but some of the stuff, really good job. Like, the movie begins and you see these Terminators coming through, and they only show, like, the top half of the body. So you don't see, like, oh, wow, that's so fake. They actually used a puppet instead of going CGI for it, and that just looks really cool. And then other things that they do show, like, the face thing like I just showed you with Terminator, but they do it for a second. It's blink and you'll miss it when they kill a guy. Just a random guy. And it actually, I was like, I had to pause and rewind and be like, oh, I didn't even notice that at first. Because, like, wait, something was a bit wrong there. But it was just great how they had that. And so we got rid of those. And I'm more invested in it because we have a time jump. And it's her and her son. And she's in an insane asylum. Her son is just stealing money from everywhere. And this time the Terminator is on their side. And they gave Arnold Schwarzenegger so many iconic lines. Hasta la vista, baby. And just so many great lines that are never going to get out of my head. And I just really, really enjoyed it. Just the entire movie. Once again, another 10 out of 10 movie. Because it blends so many things. The first movie was action movie, but it also sort of was about this romance and then a bit of time travel, just a bit. This movie really does a great job of blending just a pinch of horror, a ton of action. It also has the emotion, and then there's this time traveling aspect, and also it's got some really funny fish out of water moments where you have this machine trying to act like a human being. And so, little context, the Terminator gets killed in the first one. This is a good Terminator, and that's not really explained, but I don't think it needs to be in this movie. A YouTuber that I watch, he's my favorite YouTuber of all time. I've said this many times, but Sean Chandler, his favorite movie is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And this is not my favorite movie of all time, but it's probably up there in top 20 somewhere. I don't really know. I'm going to have to do a few rewatches, and I haven't really done a top favorite movies of all time for me because I feel like I haven't seen enough, and I haven't seen enough movies on repeat enough to really have that list cemented in. I could say my favorite movie, but I can't say, like, my top 50. So, it's just a harder thing to do. But anyway, this movie, I just loved it. It blended so many things. It did such a great job of bringing me back into this world, and it makes more sense. It looks cooler. And this villain, he's made out of, like, liquid metal. And so, it's so good. He's frozen and shot, and then he just freezes, and it's all gone. It's by nitrogen. They get nitrogen, and it freezes him. And then he's shot, and then he heats up, and he just comes together. It's like, how did they do this? How did they get, like, this liquid metal-looking stuff to connect to each other? It's just so cool. The little visual effects, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he has, like, I don't know if it's the Terminator CGI'd on his face or his face CGI'd on the Terminator, but or if it was makeup, but they have, like, the Terminator face underneath his face, and it's sort of coming out in the end. I love how the movie ended, where I was like, no, don't do it, and it gets emotional. How the movie, just the thumbs up, such a good movie. The action is way better for me. Like, I really enjoy the action from the first one. This one brought it to, like, top tier level. Same with Aliens. From Alien to Aliens, from Terminator to Terminator 2. We're talking about some good sequels here. And speaking of sequels, we came out with the Avatar trailer. Just yesterday, as of recording this, we came out with the Avatar trailer. Avatar 2. So James Cameron is coming out with his next sequel, and I can't wait. I'm gonna rewatch all his movies because let's think about it. I don't think he's done a bad movie. I enjoyed Terminator, even though, got some problems, but I still enjoyed it. And so if I'm gonna rank these movies, I'm just gonna start off, unfortunately, with coming in last place with a 7.5 out of 10 is Terminator, the original. Sorry, everybody, all big fans of that. Hey everybody, this is Editing Braden. Just wanted to say that I think I was a bit too hard on the Terminator, the original. Just I think I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Just so everybody knows, I think I was going a bit too hard on it right off of because I just like the second one so much more. So just wanted to say that. Big jump up here to a 9.5 is Alien. Amazing movie. I loved it. Why it's not 10 out of 10 is because I am not a huge horror aliens fan. Like I prefer Aliens. I'm not a big Alien fan. Whatever. Anyway, and then third place here would be Predator. I still deciding, is it 9.5? Is it 10? Is it 9.5 out of 10? I need to rewatch it, but right now I'm going with the 10. And then first place, I'm just gonna tie these two: Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and Aliens. I need to have a few rewatches to decide which one is actually better, but fortunately for me, they came out in different years, so I don't have to rewatch them immediately after I just watch them to do this ranking. So that's my thoughts on these movies, these 5 movies, and so leave your comments down below. I want to know. We did Arnold Schwarzenegger, we did like the Predator Alien World, we did Arnold Schwarzenegger, we did a bit of James Cameron, added all that together, so just comments down below. What do you think about these movies? Have you seen any of these movies? Any movies that you want to suggest to me that you don't think I've seen that I probably would really enjoy? Like, I'm enjoying these movies so much. Just leave it in the comments down below. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm Braden. This is Max Reviews. Like, subscribe to Max Reviews. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm Braden. Braden out.